All right. Today, I thought, okay, what I'm going to show for you, I thought, okay, there must be a lot of new people. And this is a PulseChain conference. But HEX is such an important token in our ecosystem. And so if somebody is new to HEX, I wanted them to see like strong charts which show how big actually the community is. And so the following charts will be all like quarterly aggregated for you to see. And they should all show how much activity is actually happening with HEX and that we're not really going anywhere. And so the first thing that you see here, these are cumulative users over time since HEX's inception in 2019. And if you're new to HEX, yes, it existed in 2019 on Ethereum, and then with the PulseChain fork, there was a copy of HEX, which is often referred to PHEX, and the old HEX is often referred to as EHEX to make the distinction. People still get confused about this. Yeah, there are two. They work the same way. One on Ethereum and one on PulseChain. And over time, yeah, we are seeing an increase of cumulative users. So there's all the time new users. This is counted by addresses. So these are unique addresses. And as of now, like when we are looking at native addresses that have ever interacted with HEX, we are almost reaching 500,000, almost 500K. I'm pretty sure next quarter we will reach it, and I will celebrate it on Twitter for sure. So follow me at Ben Sierra Pro. That's my Twitter or X handle, because I'm doing this quite regularly, if you don't know me yet. And I think this is just to see that like the adoption of HEX never really stopped. And yes, we had like a peak of 55 cents in 2021 in the bull market. And yes, that was Q3. It always shows quarter start. That's why it says July. In Q3, we had like a big influx of new people within that quarter. And that was also the quarter where the PulseChain sacrifice was happening. So somebody might say, hey, PulseChain already did help HEX a lot to onboard a lot of people. And because you saw such an increase, most probably due to the sacrifice as well. And but we grew a lot. I mean, back then, yeah, on the top, we had 180,000 addresses, and now I'm talking about 500,000 addresses. So that's pretty amazing. The second biggest jump was at PulseChain launch. Right before PulseChain launch, we had 330,000. And then we had a combined of 380,000. We had a 12% bump. And then I have two other lines here. I'm distinguishing between EHEX and PHEX. And natively, these are native addresses. So you can see that PHEX is natively more used. There are more users. And it's just going up. So the adoption never really stopped. And we're all the time getting in new people. And this is so important. And this is obviously bullish because every system that grows in users and is getting adopted more and more, and the supply is sound, that's just good over the long term. So trying to scoop up as many HEX, in my opinion, is just, it's almost like a no-brainer. But you know, it's opinions. And then the other side, you might say, okay, but how many are active? So I wanted to show that too. And this is my second chart, also on a quarterly basis. You see active users within a quarter. And we were quite busy, like 61,000 users, 61,000 addresses were active. And were interacting with HEX in some way or another. And what is really interesting in this is that here just is this really big bump. So especially when we approached Q3, when we had the top in HEX, the 55 cents, we had 100,000 active addresses. But before that, 2 quarters before that, in Q1 of January, it was only 24,000 active addresses. So ever since this big bump, we never really revisited basically the active address counts before the price hike. Ever since, HEX people were quite active in some way. They were interacting with HEX, either staking or unstaking. And even the 61,000 is much higher than the 24,000 here in January 21 or in April 2021. So, I mean, that's what you can also feel in the crypto community. That's why we're always present, because we're super active. And I think that is something super bullish. The actual most busiest time ever was PulseChain launch, interestingly. And we can be even more active with higher price actions, obviously. And as you can see, there is even a trend line, which is the dotted line, which goes through the chart. And it's upwards. So the average trend over the whole lifetime of HEX is that the active users within a quarter are increasing. So that is really good to see. And that's why it's called bullish analytics, my presentation. And I'm not trying to show you any trading charts. I'm trying to show charts that understand everybody, so that new people can understand where we are. So this is just about how active we are and how many we are. But obviously, HEX is about staking. And so when you stake, you just kind of lock your coins and burn them. And then at the end of your stake, which you define, it could be 1 day or it could be 15 years, and everything in between. And when you do that, at the end, you get yield, trust usly, which is paid out from the inflation. So it's important to see the next chart, which is how much HEX is basically staked. And you would think if if HEX is going to die, then there should be less and less HEX staked. But you see throughout its lifetime that HEX is consistently staked, and now even more than before. This chart, for some more advanced HEX people here in the chat, there is the OA addresses are counted out. So these are only pure user stakes. If you don't know what the OA is, never mind for now. But you want to dive in deeper into all of that topic, I mean, just start following hexagons or ask questions. Everybody happily answers them. But here you can see that consistently HEX is going to was staked by users, and we had 48 billion staked this quarter in total as principal, and we never had that much. Even if you are looking, let's say, only on the PulseChain side, when HEX is staked on PulseChain, you still get like 32 billion, or in Q4 of last year in 2024, you get 36 billion, which is like very high, close to these numbers here of 42 billion back in January 2020. But this is just like important that the use case of HEX is consistently used throughout its lifetime. Of course, if you attach a dollar number, the chart looks differently, but the system itself works beautifully. And I have 1 more minute left, which is actually kind of the most complicated chart, but it is such an interesting one that I will still show it to you. Maybe just concentrate on the blue bars, because this is exactly to HEX staking related again. And this is one of the most powerful charts that I've ever created, because it shows the net flow into staking. So that means there is an inflow into staking when you stake, yeah, and these are showing the dollar amounts, and there's an outflow of the staking. So you can see how much money value is flowing out or in a net environment in each quarter. And as you can see, in Q4 2021, there was a lot of value flowing out of staking. There were a lot of big rewards for stakers, which was 855 million. And what's important in this chart, that this is since then ever decreased. It decreased. We only had 400 million in 2023 at the beginning. And now we were at 60 million leaving that staking pool. And with the reduced yield that is happening now in the HEX ecosystem, which is another topic for today, but it should help to make this chart flip to the positive side. We already see the improvement throughout the last 3 years, and it should improve according to the history of this chart.
When's HEX going to hit $1? That's what we want to know.
When will it happen? When will it happen? It is just a matter of time. I mean, it
sounds like a good answer to me, actually.
I like the fundamentals,
right?
I like the fundamentals.
You're the one who's, has all this data, all the charts, all this stuff. To you, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems obvious that this thing is meant to do some serious numbers. Again,
well, Max, just think about it. Like, there's always new users, so there's always adoption. It never stopped. The active users are increasing over time as a trend. The net flow into staking is getting more positive and positive and positive. It's still negative, but it is improving the last 3 years. So I don't know if the trend just continues like that. We should be in green territory soon.